The lineup is out for the Dodgers versus Phillies NLDS Game 2. We're going to break it down. Are there some surprises? Why Will Smith is still out of the starting lineup? When will he be an everyday starter for this team once again? Also, was Andy Pages stealing signs that helped Teoscar Hernandez hit that 3-run bomb in Game 1? Is Roki Sasaki the Dodgers' official new closer? And an exciting announcement that's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Warrior Parade! We got it, Parade! The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series! Starts the 50-50 clock! Monkey magic! Freeman hits the ball to right field! She is gone! Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is Dodgers Dugout Live with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Big shout out to the Dodgers PA announcer, my friend Todd Lights, for that new drop. Get you excited for another show. Also, join the Discord. Thousands of Dodgers fans talking Dodger baseball 24/7, 365. We know we have a lot of new viewers, a lot of new listeners lately. It's that time of the year. Hit the subscribe button. That way you're eligible for all of our giveaways. Hit the like button. Do all that awesome stuff that you can do every single show. You comment, you hit the like button, you tell your friends, your family members that love the Dodgers to watch the show. It helps out. Also, for the Dodgers Nation Twitter fans, I asked you guys over on the X, do you think Andy Pages stole signs to help Teoscar Hernandez in Game 2? And right now, 25% say yes, 75% say no. So we're going to talk about that. Andy Pages, he talked a little bit about it. Did it help Teoscar? Is there anything there? I'm going to debunk a lot of that in this couple minutes here. But also, big shout out to NOEL. He celebrated a birthday yesterday. You were in your Roki year, right? Wait, is it 22, 23?
23, so my Roki year.
Your Roki year.
My Edgardo Henriquez year.
Your Edgardo Henriquez year. Your Kirk Gibson. Your Conforto year.
My Conforto year. We're going to get Magic Conforto tattoos.
Hopefully you have a better year than Michael Conforto did for year 23 year. But awesome stuff. Show him some love in the super chats. Show him some love down below. Wish him a happy birthday.
Thank you,
So
D-Mac.
love seeing that. So definitely show him a lot of love. We also have an exciting announcement later in this show. Dodgers fans, you got another show you have to watch. We're going to talk a lot of Dodger baseball. So stay tuned for that. But we've got so much Dodger baseball to get into. So let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, so just minutes ago, the Dodgers revealed their lineup for Game 2 NLDS tonight. I don't care that it did Game 1. I don't care that they won Game 1 and came back and stole that victory. This feels like a must-win as well. This is the last game I want to see the Dodgers play in Philadelphia this year in front of that crowd that everyone made so much about, that loud crowd. I saw some Dodgers fans in there in the belly of the beast, and that was really cool to see. But let's be honest. Those guys, those fans can't go out there and swing the bat. They can't throw the baseball. There's a Dodgers team that has played in front of big crowds. They've been a team that is the other team's World Series for years now. They were unfazed by that crowd. Okay, let's just be honest about that. And I think tonight we've got a lineup in place that gives the Dodgers a really good chance to win this game. I know that I said the Dodgers would win in 4 games. I know I said that, but I'm going to upgrade my prediction. I think now the Dodgers sweep. I think the Dodgers, by taking Game 1, it almost felt like Game 5 was Game 1, because That was a game the Phillies had Christopher Sanchez, nasty changeup. Shohei Ohtani strikes out 4 times. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, the MV3 not necessarily imposing their will. It was the Super Hernandez brothers once again that stepped up for the Dodgers. Kike Hernandez gets the big 2-run double in the 6th. Teoscar Hernandez gets the big 3-run shot in the 7th. And then you look at the way that the starting rotation, where Shohei Ohtani was unfazed after Teoscar Hernandez's little mishap, not taking the right angle on the JT Realmuto triple that scored 2 runs and then would lead to Harrison Bader getting that sacrifice fly. What I say though, you can find thousands. You can find literally thousands of human beings that could have made that play in right field that Teoscar Hernandez did not make. Thousands of them. They are a dime a dozen. I was talking to a scout over the weekend that told me that you can find them everywhere at the minor league level. Guys that are athletic enough to get to that baseball, cut it off. You give up 1 run instead of 2 runs. And look, I've said it all year that in right field, doubles in left are triples in right. And that was a perfect example of a triple in right that would have been a double in left if that's where Teo was playing. But you can find thousands of guys that can make that play. What you can't find is guys that can hit that home run. An opposite field shot off Strom that Teoscar Hernandez hit. It's a handful of guys that can rake like Teo in the clutch. So you got to take the good with the bad. And look, you did see Andy Pages almost throw out a runner in the 9th inning for the double, like that Kepler hit off of Roki. And yes, should Andy Pages be in right? Absolutely. You don't put your best outfielder in center or left when he can be in right. And especially a guy has that kind of arm. And then you have Tommy Edman as an option in center field. But it's too late right now to shuffle that. It really is. That's unfair to Teoscar Hernandez. He just has to play better. But tonight, you got Blake Snell on the mound. And Blake Snell gives this Dodgers team a chance to go up 2-0 against a Luzardo that the Dodgers got to him the last time they faced him. And when you look at the starting lineup tonight, it's pulled up right here. Remember after the postgame show when everyone was saying, oh, is it going to be Muncy in the lineup? Or is it going to be Alex Call in the lineup? And what I tell you, it's not going to be a conversation of Alex Call versus Max Muncy. On the preview show last week, I said it was going to be a 5-3 winning game 1. So I got my first game prediction right. I'm feeling good about that. But 2, I said that Alex Call could get the call, could be in the lineup. And that's because it's been good against lefties. And had 2 home runs against Christopher Sanchez. But I think that was exclusive to that matchup, Call versus Christopher Sanchez. And for this lineup, it's Miguel Rojas and Kike Hernandez that are in the lineup. It's not Max Muncy and Alex Call. I tried to tell you guys this. And the lineup today is Shohei Ohtani batting leadoff at DH, Mookie Betts batting second at shortstop, Teoscar Hernandez batting third and right, Freddie Freeman batting cleanup at first, Tommy Edman at second base batting fifth, and then Kike Hernandez, Mr. Keektober, batting sixth in left, Miguel Rojas batting seventh at the hot corner. He's at third. Andy Pages in center field batting eighth, and Benny the Vet Rodriguez, the Rottweiler, is behind the dish with Blake Snell on the mound. So that is your lineup today. So the first questions about this lineup that I'm seeing out there is, one, why is Will Smith not playing yet? We saw Will Smith. He came into the game in game 1, caught about 4 innings. He got hit by a pitch that I thought was one of the moments of the game that led to the big moment there where you really put yourself in a position to get that 3-run home run. And that's what Will Smith does. He's tough. He's not going to move his arm. Wasn't the best at bats for him, but he's not starting. And he's not going to start, I don't think, this series. I really don't. And I hope that he does it. I hope that they go with Ben Rortvedt. And I think you're going to see Will Smith tonight, but it's going to be as a replacement, middle of the game, possibly when Luzardo's out or in a big spot. If you need him, you can press that button. And that Will Smith button is one that they're going to press throughout, and that's something that he's going to. We got some news here?
We got a little update just now. Jack Harris, he said that Dave Roberts said Will Smith felt good coming out of game 1, and they're trying to build up his workload, and that he expects Smith to start game 3 if things keep going well.
Well, there you go. Will Smith in game 3. Me personally, I kind of like to go with the horse that got me here. And the horse that got the Dodgers here, as far as handling the pitching staff, Ben Rortvedt is special behind the plate. He really is. And do you think that it's a surprise? Is it a surprise to you that Will Smith, yes, he's a great catcher in his own right. I mean, he's an all-star catcher. I mean, he's a superior hitter. But I looked at the run game, and that's something that I was looking at in the first game. Would the Phillies steal a ton of bases? Would they try to run wild on Ben Rortvedt? And the truth is, yes, you'd have a ton of traffic, but they weren't capitalizing and putting a lot of runners in scoring position with the run game. So that's an area where Will Smith excels, and that's not something that the Phillies were taking advantage of. So, look, you want to get Will Smith's bat in the lineup, but it is a long series. It's a long postseason, and let's kind of go with what's working for the pitching staff, because the reason why the Dodgers could sweep this series is not because of what they're doing offensively. You got 2 big moments in game 1. You had the Teo bomb, you had the Kike double. But it's not like they scored 8 to 10 runs. The reason why they won that game was because Shohei Ohtani was fantastic. They had an ace in Tyler Glasnow, who, by the way, was in the bathroom on his phone probably, dropping a D, and he gets the call that he's going to come to the game. He gets 5 big outs, but he also had some walks, and he loaded the bases. And then Dave Roberts went to his most trusted left-handed reliever all year, and that was Alex Vesia, and he got the big fly out to Sosa with the bases loaded. And then Roki Sasaki came in, and we saw Sasaktober in full effect. Roki Sasaki throwing 11 pitches, 9 for strikes, getting soft contact, getting strikeouts. So the reason why they won was because of the pitching. But here was Dave Roberts yesterday talking about Will Smith and how they're going to use him and how this is not your normal buildup. Remember, Will Smith did not go to a rehab. He did not have a typical rehab assignment. I did notice, too, during some of his at-bats, you saw the top hand coming off as he was getting into some of his swings. So how well is he feeling that hand right now? That's a big question. So let's see what we get from Will Smith. And tomorrow, as Noel just pointed out, he's expected, you said, right? Expected to be in that starting lineup. So hopefully
if everything continues going well for him, then yeah.
There you go. So Smitty, and that will be back at Dodger Stadium. So that'll give an extra day too with the days off. So that's definitely a plus now. But here was Dave Roberts yesterday talking about Smitty.
He's here right now getting treatment, going to go through the workout. I haven't talked to him today yet. He's going to go out there and take batting practice. And so once I kind of have the conversation, talk to the trainers, watch him go through his work, then I'll have a better idea. But I think even, making the decision tomorrow, whether he's in the starting lineup or not, is going to not be until tomorrow, kind of late morning, once I, hear from him and hear how he feels. Absolutely. He hasn't had the normal buildup. As far as getting his legs back and catching and all that kind of stuff that he normally would, coming back from an injury. And so then you layer in the intensity of the postseason. The games are a little bit longer, all that. So, to have him catch 4 innings and then to potentially run that same playbook, certainly there's value to that. But if he says that he feels great, there's no, remnants of game 1, it might be hard for me not to kind of pencil him in. But yeah, certainly, Sonia, there's potential upside and just kind of have him catch 4 to 5 innings.
So you heard that right there. I mean, he's getting better. He's on the mend. And Will Smith, look, let's not forget. I mean, this is one of I dubbed him the Clutch Prince for a reason. Will Smith versus Will Smith. I don't think this team wins the 2020 World Series if he doesn't hit that home run in Game 5 against the Braves in the NLCS. We've seen a lot of big clutch moments for Smith. And like I said, I think one of the unsung plays of the game in this one was that top of the 7th inning after Andy Pages led the 7th off with a single off of David Robertson. Will Smith, he stayed in there on that knuckle curve and just let it graze that arm, and he was able to draw that walk in. A couple batters later, that's when Teo hit that bomb. So Smitty expected for Game 3. We'll see him, I'm expecting, at some point tonight, come in, get a couple at bats, continue to build up. But yeah, you're facing live pitching, but you're not going through a rehab assignment. So he's going to have to find that timing. He's another guy too that was really slumping from August 1st until the end of the season, was batting around 200. So that's another thing to consider. Another thing to factor in as well is, do you use Ben Rortvedt now? Do you reverse it, right? When Will Smith starts games, if the Dodgers are able to get a sizable lead, you don't want to take Smith's bat out of the lineup necessarily, but do you reverse it where right now Rortvedt is starting games and then he's exiting games with Smith inserting himself into that lineup, and then he finishes? Well, if the Dodgers are able to get a lead, do you see Smith start and Rortvedt come in finish games? That could be a possibility, because now we're exploring ways to get value out of Rortvedt if Will Smith is starting every single game for you, because he's not a guy that you really love off the bench as a batter. I mean, he definitely has been incredible based on his standard. I mean, he's hit over 300 for a while for the Dodgers at this point. You saw that big double he hit against the Reds. He's a guy who got hit too. Benny Biceps got hit in the arm in this one. He kind of slammed the bat. Look, Matt, like Popeye was taking his spinach there. It looked like he was going to rush the mound for a second there. But it's not like they're going to go to Rortvedt with Dalton Rushing, because Rushing, he provides more slugging opportunity. So that's something to consider as well. So that's the latest on Will Smith. That's why he's not in the lineup. And the other big questions, why is Max Muncy not in the lineup? Well, Muncy, he's hit less than 200 against lefties this season. Really, for the last couple of years, Max Muncy hasn't been the best against southpaws. And we saw in game one that Muncy came in and they mixed some things around. You had Kike starting at third base. And yes, for a guy who has dealt with some back issues, with Kike's tight back at third base, it scared me a little bit because he has to kind of bend over. That back can tighten up on you. Well, he ended up going to left. The next Muncy came in and he took over third base. And there was a play there where a ball kind of ate him up. He was waiting for that second hop, and he missed his throw to first. So defensively, he's not a plus at left, but he's someone who I think is going to work his way into this postseason. I think he's absolutely fine with sitting against lefties during certain sequences, because this year he's hit 157 with a 564 OPS against lefties. So with Miguel Rojas in the lineup, by the way, why does Miguel Rojas get any hate at all whatsoever on like social media, like Twitter and Instagram? Like I see people celebrating when he's not in pictures and things like that. If you are not a fan of Miguel Rojas, you're not a fan of the 2025 Dodgers. I just want to put that out there. He deserves zero hate, only praise. I've seen Miguel Rojas, honestly, is right up there with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, all these guys, as the actual number one leader of this team. I think if you would go around the Dodgers clubhouse and you would poll them, and it was an anonymous poll, and you would have them write on a piece of paper who is the leader of this clubhouse, there are guys that would write Miguel Rojas as the number one guy. Like not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. The number one leader. So no Miguel Rojas slander is tolerated on this show. Noel, I'm not crazy, right? You see that on social media, right?
It's bad, bro. You know, it's like I feel like there's always going to be people
They're the same
like players.
Freaks that hate on Kersh.
Yeah. Everybody wants to find the punching bag, but no, Miggy Rowe is extremely important to the clubhouse, and we've seen the production this year too. The production last year, he's great,
and that's why he's in the lineup. So you get a plus glove at third, but also he's been great against left-handed pitchers, and that's what they're going up against today in Jesus Luzardo. Miguel Rojas, third base against lefties this year. Miggy Rowe hitting 295, 363 on base, 516 slug with a 143 weighted runs created plus and 135 plate appearances. So you get another non-start for Max Muncy. I do think eventually they're going to go with Max Muncy, even if it's lefties, because of how valuable his bat is. One, he sees a ton of pitches. Two, he gives information to other hitters in the lineup. But he has struggled. I mean, 11 hits and 70 at-bats versus lefties, a 59 weighted runs created plus. And I don't know why people are surprised about this. What I always say, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. What they've done is not lean on Max Muncy versus left-handed pitchers this year. He started just 14 of the 34 left-handed. When he was active, he only started 14 games against 34 left-handed pitchers. So when he was active this year, and the Dodgers face a lefty, more often than not, he was on the bench. And Dave even said too that he talked to Max Muncy before this series and said that, hey, we know what we're getting into, right? We're going up against a team that's going to stack lefties with Sanchez, with Luzardo, with Suarez. You got lefties coming out of the pen. And yeah, there are going to be opportunities for Muncy, and I expect him to have his moments too. But this is a combination of Miggy Rowe being an upgrade on defense, being great against lefties, and Max Muncy struggling. And then Alex Call, like I said, the reason why you're not going to see Alex Call in there was that was more specific, I think, to his success against Sanchez versus anything else related to how he's been versus lefties this year. So even when Muncy doesn't start, he's another guy. I mean, that's something cool that they're doing this year. He's going to get into this game and possibly get a couple of at-bats. In game one, he pinch hit in the 6th inning with David Robertson on the mound, stayed in the game at third base for the rest of the game. He did ground out, and he did have a strikeout in game one, and he has 1 hit, 9 at-bats with 2 walks so far in the postseason for the 2 games against the Reds and the 1 game against the Phillies. So he's still looking to get hot. We expect him to get those opportunities. I see a lot of people down below in the comments. It feels like a lot of people want to continue on with Ben Rortvedt, right? I see it down there, and I see right here. I mean, you definitely want to ride the hot hand with him, and I guarantee you, a lot of times when I do this show, I'm always kind of predicting what questions, what takes I'm going to see in the post-game show. And if for whatever reason Blake Snell is not on, and Will Smith comes in for a couple innings, or in game 3, Yamamoto is not on, I think people are going to freak out when Smith gets back into the lineup. But hey, he's only played 2 games in the last 32 days, so he hasn't had that normal buildup. He's got to get his legs underneath him, but I still feel really good about that. But that is the starting lineup. I mean, Tommy Edman batting 5th. Kike, you expect a big moment with. I mean, Kike, what more can you say about him? And Pages, Rortvedt, those are really the guys that have really stepped up. But I think tonight's the big game for Shohei. I don't expect Shohei to strike out 4 times. I don't expect a golden sombrero for Shohei. And I went back and looked at his at-bats. A couple things stand out. One, he was expanding the zone at breaking balls away. And then 2, he was taking pitches right out over the plate. So he was guessing at times. He was mixed up. The one take that I can't wait to ask Dave Roberts, I'm surprised no one has asked Dave Roberts this in the last 3 days in Philadelphia, is Shohei Ohtani's numbers when he bats leadoff, when he pitches versus when he doesn't. There's definitely a drop-off as far as offensive production. And it just makes you wonder if you would consider dropping him down the order just so he has a couple of more seconds to breathe, just so he has a couple more seconds to get some swings in, hit the routine a little cleaner. So I'm curious to see if you see this pattern continue where Shohei doesn't look like the offensive player that he is when he's not pitching, if they consider something else. I think they're just going to keep Shohei at the leadoff. I think they like the cohesion there, but I think it's worth at least having a conversation about, because it did feel like during certain at-bats in game 1 that right after he struck out, it's like he was almost thinking about pitching while he was hitting. And yeah, I mean, he was still great. I mean, my favorite thing I saw was him striking out Kyle Schwarber, and my brain still doesn't process Shohei Ohtani. And the fact that a dude who has 55 home runs punched out a dude that with 56 home runs, like, you can write that down on the list of things you'll never see again in baseball history because of how rare he is. But now let's hear from Dave Roberts talking about Roki Sasaki, because this is the number one storyline for me early on in the Dodgers postseason. The Dodgers have found what appears to be an elite weapon, not just a good weapon, not just a great weapon. I mean, I saw people, I watched every preview show, and it's like these people spend hours on these preview shows on like MLB Network and all these other shows, and they're like, they all parrot the same take. It's like someone sends out takes to national media and they just read a script, right? And everyone's like, okay, this is the way to beat the Dodgers. You work the count against their starters, you force them to throw pitches, and then you get into that bullpen and you feast off that bullpen. What I say? Speaking of feasting, the Dodgers, they were the restaurant that changed the menu, okay? And the menu that all these analysts kept saying, get to this bullpen, get to this bullpen. It's not the same entrees, right? Roki Sasaki's there. Tyler Glasnow's there. Emmett Sheehan's there. Clayton Kershaw's there and hasn't been used yet. So the truth is this whole, let's get to the Dodgers bullpen. My response to that, be careful what you wish for. Because Roki Sasaki, yes, it was the bottom of the lineup. And yes, it's still new. But the truth is he went out there and he got the job done. And he's throwing with conviction. You're seeing a fastball that's pumping 100. You're seeing a splitter. I mean, the one that he got to Real Muto up and in, he got him to take a splitter on the upper quadrant, less than 1,000 RPM. Like, you guys tell me, have you ever seen that pitch? I can answer for you. No. Like, it's a ridiculous pitch. And now the question is Roki Sasaki the Dodgers closer? Because everyone wants him to get that title. Everyone just wants him to be Eric Gagne and Kenley Jansen and Mason Miller and Johan Duran. They just want to give him that closer title. But Dave Roberts refuses to do it. And I love the fact that Dave is not giving everyone what they want and saying that Roki's his closer, because he's not. That's not how they are going to play it. I told you that Roki was going to get 5 or more saves for the Dodgers this postseason, but they're going to continue to play the matchups. Here's a good example and proof to me why I don't think that Roki is the Dodgers closer. You know what it is? Shohei Ohtani showing bunt and delaying it and making sure that he buys Roki some time to get warmed up. If they just thought that Roki was the closer, he'd be ready to go and warmed up. And Dave Roberts wouldn't have to go to Shohei Ohtani like he did in the 9th inning to say, okay, let's try to kill some time so Roki can get warmed up. He didn't do that. Why didn't he do that? Because I also think there's a world where they could have used Blake Trinan. They could have potentially used Emmett Sheehan. But I think that Blake Trinan was a guy that they would have gone to in that situation. So I think if we're looking at where the Dodgers are at right now, and yes, throughout parts of the season, I was calling the trust twig, the trust seed, the trust leaf, because there really wasn't a trust tree because they had no one they could rely on. I do think if we're looking at the top of the circle of trust, the trust tree, that yes, Roki Sasaki is right near the top. I think you got Roki, you've got Trinan. To a degree, I think you have Tyler Glasnow, who's going to be ready potentially for game 4. But I think that is where he's at. I don't think it is, he's our closer. Here was Dave Roberts who was asked, is Roki Sasaki the Dodgers' new closer? And is that official?
You know, I think that he's earned, I just don't want to be, pigeonholed into the 9th because, with the way this lineup is constructed, there could be different ways where the 8th could kind of present itself, where he could be the best option. But I do consider him one of our, top highest leverage relievers for sure. No, well, actually, we did that. Fortunately, that was something we did intentionally. Towards the end of this season, we got him a 2 out of 3, and so we've kind of checked that box. So I feel good. If needed, we could use him tomorrow night as well. Yeah, we saw him pitch. In leverage as a reliever. Then we saw him go on the road. Then we saw him give up, a double in Seattle. Seattle responded to kind of getting hit to have a guy on base. To then, be thrust into on the road in a save situation, give up a double, and how he continued to attack the zone, get the grounder, get the pop up. Was very valuable information. Not surprising from, I don't think, any of us, but it was still good to see that. I just felt confident in him that he'd be able to handle his emotions in any circumstance, but I think it makes us all feel better once you see, him in certain spots and how he responds.
So you love to hear that right there, and they've totally turned things around for Roki Sasaki. But can we please stop this? Can we please stop saying, can we have him be a permanent closer? Can he be the Dodgers version of Mariano Rivera? Can he be the Dodgers version of Johan Duran and Mason Miller? Can we please stop doing that? You know why? What do all great relievers have in common? They were all once starting pitchers. They're all failed starters. And guess what? Roki Sasaki is not a failed starting pitcher yet. Let's see what Roki Sasaki looks like as a starting pitcher once he's throwing 100 miles per hour again, and he has more confidence and conviction, and he's a different pitcher. That's what everyone says about him. He's a different pitcher right now, and it's because of the arm slot, the angle. He dropped it down 48 degrees down to 41 degrees. That gives him more downward motion, the explosion with the back foot, the leg kick, everything synced up, and you don't, no one's going to tell Paul Skeens to be a reliever, right? No one's going to tell an elite starting pitcher who has that kind of potential to be a reliever. Now, I think that if you want to feel good about something, feel good about the fact that now we know that the floor, the absolute worst case scenario for Roki Sasaki is that he's an elite reliever, and that makes you feel good. But the truth is that all of these guys, AJ Preller, he gave up the farm for Mason Miller. The Phillies gave up top prospects for Johan Duran. The Dodgers are saying, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to do this for 1 year. And then this offseason, we'll get back to starting pitcher Roki Sasaki, and we're going to continue on that route because he's not a closer. He's just, he's doing what the team needs for them this year. Now, here was Blake Snell, by the way, talking about Roki Sasaki and how he's just a different pitcher right now.
Yeah, just watching the lineup. I like how much he's confident when he comes out of the pen to close games. He's throwing strikes. He's attacking. He's fearless. It's a different Roki. The starter Roki was more cautious and a little nervous from what I could see. And he has such good stuff, but he was just nervous of what the hitter could do. And now he's going out there. He's more confident in what he can do, and that's so much fun to watch. And the team's really behind him and pushing, and he's coming out just extremely confident, and it's so much fun to watch him pitch that way.
It's so ridiculous that the Dodgers have someone like that is, when their bullpen's failing, you can turn to this guy. I've said on the show for months, he's going to be the Frankie Rodriguez of the Dodgers, a young pitcher who comes up and helps a team win a World Series. I see him getting more than 5 saves, and I just feel great about the dude that's completely turned his season around. I still go back. I've got receipts longer than CVS of fans saying that he was a crybaby, that he's not the monster of the Reiwa era, that he's a bust, that he needs to go back to Japan, go back to the NPB. He wasn't ready for the show, and now he's out here dominating in what was supposed to be the most raucous road environment in Philly. Think about that. Not only, imagine your first NLDS is in Philly, and he went out there and he got the job done in a 5-3 game. So we'll talk some more Roki in a bit. But coming up next, we've got Dave Roberts live from Philadelphia. We'll hear from Dave, hear what he has to say about the lineup. He gives an update on Will Smith. Also, he reveals the Dodgers pitching plan if it goes to a Game 5. That's a big if. Hopefully it does not. Hopefully it goes to just a Game 3. But we'll get into that next. Also, got some comments here lined up from Noel. Show Noel some birthday love too, man. Show Noel some birthday love. That's coming up next. And an exciting announcement on a new show. So we're actually going to play the intro to the new show right now. And you can go on YouTube, the LA Sports Report. We're talking Lakers, Dodgers, Rams, Chargers, USC, UCLA, who had the upset of the year against Penn State. All things LA sports you're going to find over there. We're also going to do live breakdowns, stuff we don't do on this show. We're going to do over there for the Dodgers. So if you're a Dodgers fan, you have to subscribe to that. We're also going to do a big giveaway over there too. So definitely join. But that's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
LA is the sports capital of the world. The Lakers have entered their Luka Doncic era. LeBron doesn't just want a farewell tour, he wants a farewell title. The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Go, Kings, go! The Dodgers are the best run franchise in all of professional sports. Shohei Ohtani is the GOAT. Steve Ballmer will do anything to get the Clippers a championship. Mick Cronin has to win a national championship at UCLA. Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league. College football is just better when USC is good. This whole city has the Mamba mentality. I love LA.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is the LA Sports Report with your host, Doug McKain.
All right, so do me a favor, go over there, check that out. We're doing a giveaway for the Clayton Kershaw 3,000 strikeout bobblehead. We're going to give one away over there. 3,000 strikeouts once we hit the 3,000 subscribers. Lots of giveaways, too. We're doing a Luka Doncic jersey giveaway, too. All kinds of fun stuff. Got some comments here. We got Tabari Quarles. 499, at least nobody had to bang on a trash can for Teo. Yes. Yes. Ricardo Moreno, $2 super chat. Let's go, Dodgers. We got everything in the bag. Okay, we're getting a little overconfident now. George, Noel is getting a torta cake for his birthday. Did you get a torta cake for your birthday? Those are the best.
I got a red velvet cake, but I did have a torta for dinner. So
A torta.
I didn't have a torta cake, but I did have a torta.
Red velvet cake, man. Those are, to me, that's like food coloring.
It really is.
Yeah, but
they
it's like
they say it's chocolate cake, but they just put the red on it, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's cool. It's kind of like a mental thing. But I'm not doing anything red. The Phillies red has to be like off red for this whole week. You know what I mean? But we've got Robert Maxwell, Dodgers Nation. If we get past the Phillies, who do you want to play for the NCLS? That sounds like a new show on CBS. This week on NCLS, Mark Sanchez versus DoorDash driver. Cubs or the Brewers? I would say I want the Cubs. Go to Wrigley. That's magical. The Brewers, great frontline starting pitching. Peralta, the Miz, Bandbox Stadium. It doesn't matter, though. This is the World Series. The Dodgers win this series. They're going back-to-back. So this is the World Series. But I'd rather much play the Cubs. I think it's good for baseball, too. I'm looking for the big market stuff. Gabrielle and Layla. Remember what happened in 2017, right? And we had some good success there. We need a new T-shirt, DM. Keep that effing edge. You want that shirt? Keep the effing edge. You know what the thing is? I don't know, people, the Dave Roberts haters wouldn't want to buy a shirt without Dave Roberts. But by the way, speaking of new T-shirts, this is the best new T-shirt we've got in the game. It's our Yoshinobu Yamamoto shirt where he's screaming, where it's a little baby lion where he's yelling out, Yama! It's like his like mustard, you know? But Yama mustard. So yeah, go pick that out.
Fire.
Designed by Dodgers Nation owner and CEO, Mr. Gary Lee, big fashion designer over here. Now it popped off in Japan, right? It's like the hottest selling T-shirt in Japan today. So go get one while supplies last. You got all the colors, all the sizes, and this is the shirt you want to get to celebrate Yamamania, man, because he's the ace of the Dodgers, and he's got that heart of a lion, right? Forget the eye of a tiger, right? Forget Philadelphia, basing their entire identity on a fictional character. Hey, Adrian, right? I mean, forget the eye of a tiger. How about the heart of a lion? That's what Yamamoto has. But okay, I like the if you guys got T-shirt ideas, we got a Geektober one we're dropping pretty soon. But any T-shirt ideas, we'll definitely entertain those if they're good enough, for sure. All right, guys, here in our second segment, we are going to talk about the Andy Pages sign stealing. And then we're going to hear from Dave Roberts. And then we're going to just go crazy with your comments later in the show. So get ready. Keep firing away. Noel's looking for your comments. We're going to give out a comment of the show, too. So be on the lookout for that. But part of the buzz for game 2 is, hey, are the Dodgers stealing signs? Do we have to change signs? Do we have to change anything? Because in game 1, I'm going to pull up this shot here that has been circulating on the interwebs. And it's a shot where Andy Pages, as you can see, Strom's on the mound. The glove is completely exposed. He's got his grip on it. He's a lefty on the mound. Teoscar Hernandez is at the plate. And Andy Pages is motioning. Andy Pages is motioning with his arm up. And some were suggesting that this is about pitch location, that this is about pitch type. What was Andy Pages trying to relay here? Well, let's break this down layer by layer and leave that up just so we can see it. First of all, I just like seeing Andy Pages active on the base paths. Just first and foremost, for a guy that struggled as a base runner, the fact that he's locked in on the base paths is already a win for me. But as you see here, as he's taking that lead off of second base, and you see the right arm, and it was subtle. It wasn't big. If you watch in real time, it was very, very subtle. But then as Matt Strahm he's set to throw his next pitch, Teoscar Hernandez is at the plate, and Pages, he raises his right arm again. So the fact that he did it twice, it kind of leads you to believe that he saw something. And is that where the catcher is setting up? Is that the pitch grip? Well, the funny thing about this is Strahm missed location so badly on both those pitches that if it was for location, that it probably could have had a negative effect. Because anytime you're trying to pick up signs or location and you're trying to relay it to the batter, you have to consider the batter. I've talked to hitters that tell you that they don't want to know pitch location. Because if you know pitch location, you're going to start cheating. If it's an inside fastball, you're going to open those hips. You're going to try to get that barrel of the bat, get that top hand down quicker. And if it's on the outside, you're going to kind of set up outside a little bit, and that could hurt you if they miss location inside. So clearly there was some information gathering here, and it makes matters worse for the Phillies and this whole situation just because Teoscar would go on to hit that 3-run home run. That was the big difference in the game. But Andy Pages has denied that he was relaying signals. He told The Athletic that he did not steal signals and he did not relay them to Teoscar Hernandez during the at-bat. He said he didn't do it. And even if he did, so what? This is completely legal. I texted with someone that covers the Phillies today. They think that it was a nothing burger. They think that the team and the clubhouse, that they're not fearing that any type of sign stealing was going on. And I texted someone with the Dodgers and they said, look at Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is one of the best at this. This is a part of the game. This is not cheating. If he did this, it's tip your cap to the savviness of Andy Pages. It's a attaboy. It's a pat on the back. It's not, oh, you're the Trastros. You need to be investigated. No, that was nefarious. That required a camera in the outfield that was positioned to take signs that the catcher was relaying to the pitcher and then decoding those signs in real time and then using a system like trash can banging and whistling to get that to the hitter. That was a whole nother thing, right? That's like robbing a bank and clearing out the vault. This is like you leave the bank and you accidentally took the pen that you signed a check with. It's in your pocket. Like, it is nothing, right? There's no comparison with that. And the other thing too is the pitcher for the Phillies, he goes on X. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Matt Strahm actually took to X and responded to Ben Verlander. Ben Verlander has taken more strays and has gotten attacked more than anyone that I've ever seen in the history of sports. It seems like he does a pretty good job. I've interviewed a couple of times. I can honestly kind of call him a friend. I almost feel bad for the dude because my man gets absolutely trolled beyond belief. All he did was kind of point out what he was seeing, and he got smoked a little bit. Matt Strahm, he goes on and he responded to a couple of those tweets, and he said that there was nothing going on there. That there was nothing going on there, that he was not worried about it, that if you watched him all year, that this is kind of what he does as far as having the glove position like he had it and having it be a little bit of exposed. But here's what he said to Ben Verlander. So Ben Verlander tweet out, Matt Strahm showing everything possible to the runner on second base, ball, grip, everything. Pages seemingly relays to Teo. Boom. Rest is history. First of all, Ben, we know you're a Dodgers hater, okay? And we know that you're probably upset that the Phillies are maybe having a disadvantage here, and that's probably why you were writing to Twitter to tweet this. But then here is Matt Strahm. After the game, he responded to this tweet that said, quote, Ben, I get stirring the pot is how you make a living since baseball didn't pan out. I'm going to finish him right there. That's a finish him already. That's top to top, bro. But go watch the game. He did the same thing on every pitch, on different pitches, Oh, and if you know ball, you know I've had my hands up to the better part of a decade and have fingers together for all pitches. So what Strom is saying is that there's nothing different between, like, Strom could have basically known that Pons was doing that and he wouldn't have changed his glove positioning. And here's something I haven't heard anyone mention. This is something I haven't heard anyone mention. That's why you have pitch comm. That's why they invented pitch comm. So you can communicate with the catcher in these situations. Yes, it does help that you have setup, and that definitely helps you in a big way there. But still, there was nothing going on here. This is a story that I think has been overblown just because of this tweet and the fact that Strom has responded to these tweets. I think the bigger story here is why the hell is your reliever who just gave up a 3-run nuke? Why is that dude running to Twitter to respond to trolls? Like, bro, lock in. Like, that wasn't even his only tweet. Someone by the name of Michelle tweeted, Matt, get off Twitter, dude. You threw a meatball. His response, you're not my dad. You're not my dad. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. But still, I mean, there was no cheating there. I mean, after the game, Teoscar said that he watches videos and that he knows that he knew that Strom liked to go up in the strike zone, and that's when he's stronger. So, hey, look, that's what Teoscar does. He backspins balls up in the zone. He punishes mistakes. So him not trying to overswing there was why that happened. So I hate the fact that this almost discredits that moment for Teoscar Hernandez too. So yeah, nothing there, nothing to see here. This is a nothing burger. I'm actually disappointed if it actually is 100% because I want to see Andy Paz engaged on the base pass. So that's where that's at. But all right, guys, here's some comments here. We got a 199 super chat. Will for real. Kike t-shirt idea. Still don't give a F. That'd be solid, but I feel like that's kind of putting words in his mouth in a way, but I'm not that against it. Cristiano Bias, $5 super chat. When you said Glasnow was in the bathroom, probably dropping a D, you meant he was dropping a D-Mac, right? Because you are the shiznit D-Mac. LOL. All right. Comment of the show, man. Show me some love like that. Automatic comment of the show. Always on this show. But no, look, Tyler Glasnow, here's something I want to throw out there about Glasnow that you bring it up. I'm curious to see if they go for the throat with Glasnow in one of these next couple of games. Because with these days off, it sets up your starting rotation where you have Ohtani, Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, and then Ohtani for game 5. But then most importantly, if you get length out of these starters, 7 innings, that means you only need 6 outs, 2 innings to close out the game. And you got 1 inning for Roki and Blake Trinan. And then we'll see how you deploy Alex Vesia. I think there's a chance we almost never see Tanner Scott this series. I really do. I think it's going to be very minimal usage unless you see a starter get rocked and get chased. But I think Jack Dreyer's ahead of him. I know Alex Vesia is ahead of him. I almost wonder if Anthony Bonda is ahead of him. And then Clayton Kershaw, he's going to be used more of as a guy if you need length, if a starter doesn't go deeper. But does Clayton Kershaw get considered for a game 4 start if Tyler Glasnow is available for the next couple of games and you think you got game 2 intact? You think you got game 3 intact? Do you go to Glasnow or do you go to Sheehan? Because Sheehan was rocky against the Reds. Jack Dreyer, little rocky too. Alex Vesia got the job done, but he's not necessarily an up-down guy, even though Dave talked about considering it. And you're only probably going to get 1 inning out of Roki, even though he can go 2 games, 2 games and 3 games. He can pitch twice in a 3-game stretch. So I would hope that they go with Glasnow if they need to and try to sweep. And then if you need a pitcher for game 4, it's at home, Clayton Kershaw. Maybe you consider that. But let's go to Dave Roberts. He's live in Philadelphia talking to the media. Let's hear what he has to say about today's lineup and the Dodgers' plan.
Doc, we start with David here in second row.
Dave, what was the thought process of Ben Rodford starting and having Will come off the bench tonight?
I think the thought was similar to game 1. Given Will hasn't had, much of a work up coming back from the IL, so catching the 5 innings, whatever it was, to then build up tonight, to then feel like he's in a better spot. We got 3 at-bats under our belt, which is also a positive. Came out of it feeling good, which is encouraging. And then, if we continue to trend, then, having him start game 3 if it still looks good.
Okay, next question. I'm going to go here in the first row.
Hi. So it comes out today, no surprise to you guys, that your 3rd straight year you led the major leagues in days on the injured list. I guess, what does it say about this team that you're able to survive all these injuries and get to this point? And now what's the feeling when, especially on your staff, so many of these guys are healthy and you feel like you're probably as loaded as you've been?
Yeah, we've had certainly our fair share of injuries. I think a couple things. I think it certainly speaks to the way the front office can kind of add depth and navigate the waiver wire. On the development side, we've had some young guys cut their teeth that probably weren't ready, but had to rise to opportunities. And then as far as like the guys that were around, the core group of guys that were healthy, just to remain steadfast and keep going. And early on, the starting pitching was very patchworky. And then later on, the pen and fortunately, the positional player group, for the most part, has been intact, which has been great. But, guys have stepped up. And for us to keep going says a lot, about the organization.
Okay, we're going to go to Bill in the middle.
Yeah, Dave, what makes Teoscar such a good RBI man, particularly in the postseason?
I think his ability to use the whole field. I think he just locks in a little bit more in run-scoring situations. That's probably the 2 biggest things. You're going to have to hit some velocity. You're going to have to stay away from spin. And to do that, you got to be able to use the whole field. A lot of RBI guys have to be able to do that or do that. And I just think, again, his focus is just more heightened, in those spots and then also in the postseason.
And why was that lacking for such a large chunk of the regular season then?
I think it's just there is some part of it where I think some of the injury part of it, he injured his groin, I think, in Kansas City, and coming back from that might not have been 100% coming back. And also, I think that's part of it, a lot of it, but also I just think that the focus is more heightened. It just is.
Over here on the right, second
We
row.
saw you deploy Glass now for multiple innings in Game 1. Could we see that out of Emmett Sheehan or Clayton Kershaw as well?
Yeah, I think so. Certainly Glass is off the table for tonight, but Clayton or Emmett, certainly viable options, yes.
Hey, Doc, you've played in some hostile environments, New York, Boston, and you managed in some as well. What's your advice to Blake about pitching in an atmosphere like this, in a game like this?
He's pitched in a lot of big spots and environments, hostile environments, and so for me, I got no advice for him. I think he's really focused on just doing his job, and like most greats, when they get to performing or competing, all that noise drowns out. It really does.
Okay, we're going to go right here in the front.
You guys have faced Luzardo a couple times in the regular season, and he's had deeper outings. What's made him effective against your lineup? And do you expect that he might have the chance to go deep in the game, or maybe the Phillies go with a quicker hook?
Yeah, he's good. He's good. It's velocity. There's changeup, really good changeup that he's been successful with us. He pitches, backwards at times with JT behind the plate. There's a sweeper, slider that he tries to get for Chase, but 3-pitch guy. I'm sure Rob has a lot of trust in him. We're expecting him to go long, and our lineup kind of reflects that. But I expect us to take good at-bats. Really good pitcher, but I feel like we got a good game plan tonight. And, I think we got to make sure we do a good job of trying to keep him in the strike zone. If we do that, it should be a good night.
So no Tyler Glass now tonight, obviously, but game 3, who knows? I still think in the back of their mind that if they feel like they can end that, just put an end to the Phillies, sweep them, I would roll the dice on Tyler Glass now in game 3. I don't want any chance of a game 4. I want any chance of game 5. I want to sweep this team. So I would definitely consider. You mentioned Jesus Luzardo. So that is the matchup for the Dodgers tonight. Luzardo has a really good start against the Dodgers in Philly, but a few weeks back in September, he faced the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium and they got to him. So Luzardo is not as elite as Christopher Sanchez. Like Sanchez, he actually led all NL starters in WAR. Like my man was right up there with Paul Skeens and Yamamoto's. Like he's that good for sure. But Luzardo is really good too. Like, I mean, he's a guy that if he's hot, he can definitely pose some problems. And when the Dodgers faced him back in early April, he went 7 innings, gave up no runs, had 8 strikeouts. But when the Dodgers faced him back in September in a 5-0 win, the Dodgers, they were able to score 4 runs off him. Freddie Freeman homered off him in the 2nd inning. Ben Rortvedt had an RBI single off of him. Kike had an RBI single off him. Then also Shohei Ohtani hit a home run off of him as well in the 8th inning. The thing with Luzardo is he was able to go deep into that game. So that was really the recipe for their success. Now, the recipe for the Dodgers' success, the biggest key for the Dodgers in this one is continuing to neutralize that top of the lineup for the Phillies. Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, and Kyle Schwarber went a combined 1 for 11. And one of the biggest reasons why was an adjustment that the Dodgers made from a pitching standpoint. They were attacking the zone. They were aggressive against those 3 hitters. And in that game, the Dodgers had a 53.3% zone pitching rate. They were in the strike zone 53.3% of the time. Regular season, they're around 50%. But that was the strategy. You do not want to nibble. You do not want to give the Phillies count leverage. When they're ahead in the count, they're a different team. You want to pound the zone with strikes if you can, and that's why the interesting chess match tonight is going to be Blake Snell, because Blake Snell is a guy that knows how to live off the plate and still have success. So will we see a different version of Blake Snell where he's trying to throw a little more strikes, be a little more command happy, or are we going to see a Blake Snell that's kind of following what worked for Shohei Ohtani and the rest of this Dodgers staff? This is a Phillies team that's not good against curveballs. They're not good against breaking balls. And we know that Blake Snell has one of the best sliders and one of the best changeups in baseball. And I think we're going to see him throw a lot of that. He also has a curveball as well. So that's kind of the big adjustment for this Dodgers team is how you attack them in the zone. But let's go to you guys. A little 7th inning stretch. And I want your predictions. Who's going deep tonight? What's your score prediction? I nailed it in game 1, 5-3. In game 2, I'm thinking
the 7th inning stretch.
You like that little tease right there, huh? Long balls dawned, 199. I'm going to be inhaling glizzies all game today. Okay. First of all, everything was wrong with that comment. The name that you had, what you said, you're getting a bruh. Why are you guys so obsessed with that? I mean, come on. Go blue _IE. It's what Roberts is not saying that is more telling. No mention of Tanner Scott. Roger Howard, we're looking forward to a World Series rematch with the Yankees. Wait, never mind. Yeah, the Yankees getting smoked by the Blue Jays. And on my World Series repick, we got the Blue Jays. So Dodgers blue, Blue Jays blue. Toronto's going to be on a plane to, or Shohei's going to be on a plane to Toronto, but this time it'll be to play the World Series, not sign with them. Kunji Club says, happy birthday, Noel. We saw you guys at the last movie night. You met Kunji Club. You did. What can you tell me about him?
Man, it was he said that he found out about the movie night from us, and he said he didn't make it to the Sandlot one, I believe. But
what a great dude.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. A good time.
Sergio, that laser logo is legit. Well, that's Rob's boy, the homie Rob over there. But yeah, no, we're going for a West Coast theme, right? I mean, the song sounds like it was produced by Dr. Dre. It's definitely big West Coast vibes on that one. Palm trees, you got the Paisley print. Yeah, it's definitely fire. Be sure to subscribe, guys. It's going to be a lot of exciting stuff, interviews. Can't wait for that. Hey, bro, true speaker. Wait, D-Mac, did you know Shohei followed you guys on IG? I never knew. Yeah, Shohei follows us on Instagram. He also reposts us, which is pretty cool. And that's pretty awesome. I know that every time it happens, Noel, he gets excited in the group chat and sends a link. It means a lot.
Sometimes, it's a long day of work, long time covering the game, but it's all worth it when you click on that Shohei Ohtani IG store and you see one of our posts on there. It's always super cool.
Yeah. No, I always, some people always ask me, like, do I know Shohei Ohtani? And I don't really know how to answer that question. Obviously, I don't know him. He probably obviously doesn't know me like that. But I feel like he's probably like, I've seen that guy before. He's asked me questions before.
You'll be in the 30 for 30.
Okay, well, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I'll take that. Ken Tinker is $5 super chat. I've got a fever, and the only prescription is more curveballs, not cowbells. George, doctor's order, no fiber for a week from Glass now. Yeah. Tom Vernia, I've seen exactly one person down here in San Diego wearing a Padres hat since they went on vacation. Yeah, the Padres are in Cabo. By the way, Phillies fan, don't think I didn't see a play Not Like Us. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
They played the Not Like Us, and you're not going to be like them, the Dodgers, right? Because you're not going to be winning the World Series. But I saw that shot right there, and I didn't like it. Dodgers going on a 2000-2001 Lakers-like run from Zizzoza 666. Stevens Lopez, I think Dave Roberts deserves a lot of credit for knowing his players and putting them in a position to win. People like to throw him under the bus, but he's a great manager. Yeah, Dave was managing extremely well. I mean, I think you saw the buns he pushed. Also, I like too, sometimes the players got to take it upon themselves. Like when Tommy Edman ran through Dino Ebel's hold sign, you got to take it upon yourself. Let these players play as well. All right.
Did you also see that Juan Soto's already in Cancun?
Is he?
Yeah.
Like for real?
He posted on his IG story. He's in Cancun.
Oh my goodness. Soto in Cancun, man. That's hey man, he can afford it. I feel like he'd be somewhere better than Cancun, like to be honest. But
he's playing into the meme.
Is he?
Yeah, he's got to be.
That's good stuff. That's going to go down as a pretty interesting contract. 499 DMAC. I'm not sure where to watch the game. BW Buffalo Wild Wings or Yard House. I'm gonna let you call it. Man, I like for me, Couch Show. Give me the couch. Where do you live? Because Buffalo Wild Wings sometimes is loud. You can't hear the broadcasters. I'm not a huge fan. I really for me, like my bathroom is right down the thing. I got my own fridge. I got my notes. But if I had picked between the two Buffalo Wild Wings has some of the best tacos in LA, if I've heard.
Oh god.
According to Noel, right?
Bro, no. Yard House has the best happy hour in LA.
Does it?
Bro, you got it. Like they serve these like massive appetizers, and during happy hour, they're such a good deal.
I'll tell you what. You know what? You should go to an official Dodgers bar. Go to the Dodgers Nation bar guide to check it out. But okay, a couple more here for my prediction. I'm going game 2. I think the Phillies score some runs again. I think get a really good start from Blake Snell. I think the Dodgers offense, the top of that lineup, is going to perform better. I think it's going to be a better night for Shohei Ohtani. I like the Dodgers scoring 6 runs in this one. I think I'll be like a 6-4 win. 6-4 win for the Dodgers. I think Shohei Ohtani goes deep. I think that I'm going to say Shohei Ohtani and Kike Hernandez gets another big hit and Teoscar gets a big double.
All right, I'll go Dodgers win 2-1. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. To go deep, I got Mookie.
Got Mookie go deep. I got Blake. I got a good Blake Trinan appearance in this one. I think Blake Trinan looks like more like postseason Blake Trinan. I think Roki Sasaki, he comes up big. Oh, I think I'm going Blake Trinan getting the save tonight. But that's gonna do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Stay tuned. We'll talk more Dodger baseball in a little bit. And the LA Sports Report coming at you live in just a couple minutes. We'll give you some updates over on our Twitter for Dodgers Nation, so look out for that. We'll talk some more Dodger baseball over there. Get you ready for Game 2 tonight. Forget Dodgers in 4. How about Dodgers in 3? And you sweep in Philly. But that is going to do it. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And also show some more birthday love for Noise by Noel. The Dodgers get Noel that birthday dub tonight in Philly.
Yes, sir.
So Lola give you a nice little super chat for sure.
There we go, Lola.
Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, join our Discord, subscribe to the LA Sports Report, and go to gearup.la for all the best Dodgers t-shirts in the game. Go buy that new Yamamoto Lion, baby lion shirt. Yama! While supplies last. Go cop that gear and look out for new t-shirts on the way. But all right, guys, see you in a little bit. Let's get this dub tonight. And remember, join us for the post-game show right after the game, and that absolutely nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.